It's not rare to see players jumping from one casino to the other, playing 5-6 games a weekend and barely remembering where they even played those games. In a world where compliance and regulation is becoming even harder and harsher on casinos, retention will become the differentiator in 2026. In this episode of the Square Table, brought to you by Kensho Media, we'll be talking with Henk Wolff, iGaming consultant and retention expert, somebody who knows exactly what makes the players stick around for longer times, and the differentiator between making sure that your casino will either rank higher in 2026 or staying low within the rest of the unregulated ones. For those that care about VIP data and CRM and want to better utilize timing and processes within your casinos, grab a chair and sit with us today because this will be an amazing episode of course, Henk, 2026 now, a lot of things are going to change. A lot of things are coming, a lot of new things that you and I have no idea what we're going to be talking about in an episode in December of this year. But let's talk about the things that worked in 2025 for you. I'm not specifically asking for a recap episode, but you're going to understand it better now that I'm asking you this. Across the casinos that you worked with, what are you seeing in player behavior that can be studied and improved in 2026? For example, are people playing with more brands? Are they switching faster? Is brand royalty a thing? Should we expect different things from our site? You see, we are always talking about behavior. We're always understanding and trying to learn the customer's journey so that we are, of course, giving them the best experience. But should we care that much about a longer journey, or should we be right now more warned and caring more about the fact that they're jumping ship all the time?
Right. So to me, it's kind of a double-edged sword. But the thing is that what most casinos don't understand is how important retention marketing actually is. If I talk about retention marketing, I'm talking about your lifetime value could triple and quadruple even if you do it correctly. Most of these casinos, they think like, oh, the player will play at 5, 6, 7, 8 casinos anyway at the same time. The average is 4 per country, but sure, there are countries that goes way beyond this. So when we're talking about brand loyalty, this is something that I find really interesting because now you see more brands working with AI tools and they all get the same AI look, or, you know, it's just a copy of a template from either of the platform, or they just copied themselves from like Steak or trying to be the next Steak. The thing is, if you really want a brand to be actually a brand, you have to use like not just images, you have to use the tone of voice of that brand as well. You have to communicate as that brand image that you're representing. And if you look at USPs for a lot of casinos, they'll be like, yeah, our USP is the instant withdrawal. Yeah, like just like every other casino. So what is your USP, or what is the consumer's UBR, unique buying reason? And then it's where you should focus on demographics, and especially niche demographics that work really well. And as soon as you can get your core audience, so your core demographics sorted, you'll notice the growth within the other groups as well, because people will start talking about it, and you get your backlinks, you get that reach going. So brand loyalty is something that is underestimated. Retention marketing is underestimated. And a lot of these new casinos, they only focus on how do I acquire more players? And when they go live, they don't even have a retention tool such as Optimove active. And that is what frustrates me the most.
Yeah, coming, for example, when I was a gamer, an iGamer back in Brazil, and I remember it fondly. It was Messi's first season at Inter Miami 2 years ago, and I wanted to bet everything on him. I wanted to bet everything on him making the goals, on him scoring, on him getting the tournament, and it all worked out at the end because Messi never left me hanging. But at the same time, I remember that I was using this house because of an influencer. I followed this guy. He was a football commentarist. So I was playing on whenever and wherever he was recommending us to play at. I never got an email back from that casino after I betted everything on Messi. I never got even months later, an excuse to come back. They never asked me how I was. They never asked me how my my Christmas was. And it's very easy to jump ship because if I go watch a Premier League game right now on the stands, I'm gonna see 20 different brands
Yeah.
of betting casinos that I can put my money into it.
Yeah.
So of course it is easier to jump ship.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Not everybody's thinking about retention. So when you look at that behavior itself, what numbers do you check first to decide if a casino is actually healthy or not? If it's actually okay. I understand that there is a lot of competition, but you guys are making everything working together to retain that customer.
Yeah. So there's this KPI that we call the 7-day cohort. And the 7-day cohort is literally how much of your players that have registered today are still with you within 7 days or after 7 days.
Okay.
And once we get that figure, we always ask, all right, what is the 30-day cohort? And we also look a lot on the first and second deposit rate. So first deposit, so register to deposit. That's an FTD that we're talking about. That is quite easy to get. You can get affiliate marketing go in and you get an FTD. But here's the trick that most people don't see is when that player has registered, deposited, he needs on that same day, he needs to be reactivated to deposit again.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's when he's still engaged with your website. And if you're not giving him a reason to deposit a second time, they're gone. They're gone. They're gone. And they'll go to a website that does this. They'll go to a website like what I really like. There is this PSP, and when you're like on less than 90% of the budget that you deposited, they will give you an automated message, like a push notification, like, would you like to top up again so you can continue playing your game? Stuff like this is so important. And then then it goes into depth, like, all right, how many deposited more than 100 euros? How many deposit more than 200,000 and all that? But yeah, the main KPIs that we look at is the 7-day cohort, the 30-day cohort, and the second deposit. That is so important, those key numbers.
Did you see this backfiring? Like ever heard or even saw a case of talking too much to a customer made them angry or made them think that, I don't know, educational deposit, it's such a big topic right now.
Yeah.
Right. Talking about using well your salary, your income, putting 20%, 10% of your income into the games themselves. So sometimes listening about this moving forward, I can think of two ways. You even said so yourself. It has two faces. One of them is we need to be educational at all times and make sure that we're not pushing the player towards spending more. At the same time, I need to retain them and make sure that the time they're spending here is valuable for me because I'm a company who needs to profit. How do I work with that?
Yeah, it's so you definitely look at the preferred channel. Every consumer has a preferred channel. If they have never opened an email, you will notice that, okay, let's try a different channel. How do they like rich inbox or any web inbox feature for that matter? If they like an inbox feature on your website and you can give them a push notification, hey, there's a message for you or anything like that, or you could try to export your consumer base to Meta and retarget them there and there. So it's a matter of figuring out which channel works for the player. And, there's no one size fit all. Otherwise, this industry would have been so easy. But this is that is the core of the industry, why it makes it challenging, because you have to figure out, all right, how do I reach this consumer? What message does this consumer likes most? And, so there are bonus hunters that really like bonus, but there is also people that like to play responsible and they like to be educated. And I think education is a really big part of your retention system if you do it correctly. So RNG is where a lot of companies will be like, yeah, but doesn't that tell our players that they shouldn't spend? No. You're literally in their face with your brand, but you're telling them how to play respectfully and make sure that they don't get into trouble. So you care for them. And that's, like those are the small things.
I'm thinking of a relationship. You're being the dad to the kid who's like, Dad, let me play football in the muddy field. And like, mom is like, no. Yeah. You're going to get muddy. You're going to harm yourself. Don't go. But dad is like, go on, son.
Yeah.
Get yourself dirty. See how it is. Well, of course, this is debatable at the moment because the governments are still letting it be debatable. Maybe if we were to revisit this video again, a year from now, We are going to be talking about different tactics because that's how the compliance environment is right now, growing and changing more and more and more. But this is not a compliance episode. So let's stick still to the
Victor,
retention side of things.
I do want to
Go ahead.
touch this slightly though.
Please,
Like
okay.
UK, UK, they increased the tax to 40% from April.
Yeah.
On slots. The Dutch government, they are trying to increase it to 38% as well. So high 30s. We've got international studies that state anything above low 30s will ruin your channelization rate. If you look at the Dutch market, where the regulated operator is so limited, like literally, Victor, it is nuts how limited the regulated operator is in the Dutch market. And then they are wondering why the consumer goes to the black market. So if you're talking about consumer behavior, it's also how much of the regulator pushes literally the consumer to the black market. For instance, I make a good living. I can't complain. I can maybe spend more than an average person on casino slots. I don't play slots. I'm a blackjack player. I like blackjack more than I like my slots. But when I talk about live gaming, you're talking about €5 per hand minimum, right? Especially in a live casino. So when I do €5 bets and I get to 750, so I deposit €750 at a Dutch online regulated casino. Now, if I want to deposit again, I have to show that casino my pay slip. That is nuts to me. Like that is, I have to give so much of my privacy away to some guy who is like probably 25 years old, who now sees my name, who now knows how much money I make. I have no idea who that guy is. And, you know, we trust the regulated casinos. I do as well. But still, there's so much information already at this casino. They know my every details. They know my bank details. They know my personal details. They have my passport in their back office. If someone wanted to be maleficent, they could. So so that is also influencing consumer behavior. It is really, and people don't understand this well enough.
You made me think of a different view here, and I appreciate that because let's not even bring into my world, but to a more general mainstream world. We have Netflix now. Netflix is amazing, right? What a time to be alive. Go to the couch, a few clicks, and I'm watching a movie. It's getting expensive, and Netflix doesn't have the Marvel movies. So let me go to Disney.
Yeah.
And now Disney is expensive, but it doesn't have Game of Thrones. So let me go to HBO Max. So what did I do? I got burned out and fed up of the walls and the limitations and having to juggle in between. I'm not gonna stay there. It's no longer beneficial for me. It's been so hard to play. It's so hard to have a good time. So I believe we're gonna find the same situation in iGaming.
Yeah. And the thing is, and this is also the trend that we see in other things, such as the UK, they banned porn websites, right? For everybody below 18. So the sale of VPNs rose so hard that, you know, the websites, some of these VPN websites literally went down because there was so much traffic on this on day one. That is how the consumer adapts to regulations. And look, I'm all for regulating social media. And someone also I made a post about this as well, because I don't think that banning something is obviously the way. You have to educate. And this is where the older people, like the boomers, don't understand this. And boomers, they make these rules. Like the generations above us, they make the rules, but they don't understand how tech savvy these next generations are. They've heard of Telegram, but have they seen a Telegram casino actually work? Do they understand how a Telegram casino works? They have no idea. It's just a mobile phone buried somewhere in the dirt that you'll never find, right? And the same is with social media. So I'm all for regulating social media. I've got a daughter. She's turning 4, and I would not want her on Instagram for the next 10 years because it's toxic. It's a toxic environment. But when you get to that age, I want to educate her about why do I don't want that? Why is it dangerous? And I'll show her, like, these are the risks. And I don't want you to talk to randoms. I don't want randoms to follow you. You never know who's behind the screen. And, you know, we grew up, well, I grew up as a gamer, right? I grew up with all the games that you can imagine, like everything. We got scammed online so often that you and
Oh
I, yeah.
yeah.
So our
Oh
generation
yeah.
was already aware of like, oh, we have to be
Mhm.
aware of what the other person on the other side. How many old people get scammed by, call centers that pretend to be Microsoft workers and they pay
Oh,
thousands?
it's a huge market,
Yeah.
right?
And that's where all the generations, they don't understand the industry that we're literally like, not even the
Yeah.
industry, the tech era that we're in. They have no idea.
Even mindset, even the customer
Yeah.
journey, even the coming back to it all, even how the brand is being perceived by us. Should I stick to a brand? Should I
Yeah.
go to another one? I feel like you and I can continue talking about regulation here. On top of all of that, these rules, these regulations changing, do they also change the way you advise casinos to go, like to grow? Sorry.
Yeah.
So do you draw a line between smart, aggressive marketing and moves that would just be blocked later? Do you start with regulated ones that you know are safer because now you can work? Then how does it all work within these constant movements in compliance?
When I speak to casinos and when I how I advise them, I always tell them you have to be aggressive enough to be more visible than the other casinos, but you also have to be very aware of how RG works. If you're going to make the player overspend, they won't come back at your casino because the player will feel like it's being scammed or whatsoever.
Yeah, or even traumatized.
Exactly. So you have to find that red thin line, and I think that is something that we do sell onboarding trajectories for casinos, like the first 10 days, first 15 days, first 30 days, first 90 even. But we have found that frequency of how often should we reach out to a player before he gets annoyed, and then also with even the transactional emails, right? You've deposited, you get an email, right? So that email should also be personalized, and those are things that you don't see quite often. But we try to personalize everything that we can do. So it's not of a matter of how aggressive or how we define the line between aggressiveness and passiveness. It's also about how do we communicate with the player. So this is a very good trick for anyone listening right now. This is going to blow away your email campaigns into the double digits. Use the first name of the consumer twice. So first, hi, first name, and then later down, use that first name again. It's brilliant. It's such a game changer. It's such a game changer, and people don't understand.
For you to see that I'm not even joking, you can open my email that I sent over to you. It's gonna be, hi Hank, thank you Hank.
Yeah,
Because I know what you're talking about. I know I've read about somebody saying that this right now is to make sure that people feel like they're being viewed.
Yeah.
That they're being seen. That they're being seen.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree.
So it's not just how aggressive you have to be. It's more like how personalized you have to be. And yeah, you have to be more visible than other casinos because the more you see something, the more trustworthy it gets to you. Like if you ask a kid to literally, there's this study that asked a kid to recognize several brands, and they knew three. One of them was Coca-Cola. The other one was McDonald's. I don't know any more toxic companies that produce more toxic shit, but
True.
Kids below the age of 3, they did this. Do you know how coffee got introduced in Japan?
No, go.
Right.
Go.
So coffee is not a product that is normal to Japan because they are tea drinkers. So what the consultant said was first create candy. And once you got the candy, people, when they grow up, so 15 years later, they'll have that nostalgia feeling to like, hey, I like this taste because it was something that I can remember from those days. That's how coffee got introduced. So coffee lifespan was 15 years of a marketing plan. 15 years. Most casinos, they don't even have a 1-year campaign.
No.
And this is how Japan got introduced to coffee. It's nuts, isn't it?
For the candies that were flavored with coffee.
Yeah. Toys, candies, like that's how you build it. But they knew they had to invest 15 years of all this stuff before Japan would even drink coffee.
But it was as you just said right now. Some brands, they don't even see the light of day for a year. Working with SEO here, by the way, just a quick CTA here at Kensho Media, bringing you the square table with Henk Wolff. We're working with SEO in high stakes markets for you, especially if you're looking to grow yourself into this very competitive niche we're working with. Coming back to it, SEOs for some of them doesn't even make sense because they come to me and they say, Victor, I'm not sure if my brand will be around to rank in an online casino in 6 months from now. When enough is enough? When should we spend more time? What is a long plan in talks in regards to iGaming? Should we, whenever we're talking about long-term things in iGaming, should we start considering that 6 months is long-term? Do you think so?
Oh, I think 3 years. 3 years is when you have your marketing campaign. Yeah, that's what I think. But but the thing is, Victor, ask any operator right now, what do you have for Valentine's Day? It's December now. Ask them what campaign do they have ready for Valentine's Day. Half of them.
I don't think they have.
Yeah, half of them don't have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the top 10%, of course, steak, all the big ones, they got it. Ask them what they got for Chinese New Year, which is next month. They probably don't even know yet. So these are things that they don't really plan ahead. So what I try to teach these casinos as well, try with, well, first all the work that you should have done, let's fix that first. Then let's do 3 months ahead. And once we're in month 2, you'll start to notice we can work 6 months ahead. And then you do 12 months ahead. And that's, Victor, when you make a difference as well in just strategic planning. I'm not saying it's strategy because people confuse strategic planning with strategy, but strategic planning should be there.
I agree. I just to make sure that I'm getting what you're saying right now and closing this up.
Yeah.
If you don't have a strategy on place, at least organize yourself to go and build that strategy.
Yeah.
Right? At least understand why you're sending emails, why you are reaching out on notifications, why you're going to events, why you're putting this and that.
How as well, like not just why.
Yeah, that's a great one.
When, like some casinos, they don't even know when their players play. If you go to, you tell them like, have you looked at the website activity between 6 and 8 p.m. So in the evening hours, they were like, yeah, I think we've got a rise there. Yeah, of course, that's when people are off work. Then they'll play.
Yeah.
At a certain casino, what we did actually, my CRM team and I, my data team, we actually knew the bowel system of one of our VIPs because every day the same 15 minutes he would play, and we just knew you're taking a shit right now. What we did is we sent them like last 5 minutes. Yeah, the last 5 minutes of that, we nailed it, and we just send him a bonus. Deposit now again. We made him shit for 5 minutes longer. That boss is gonna hate us, but he deposited and he played 5 more minutes, so that session duration prolonged. LTV got higher, made it brilliant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you also believe, talking, for example, whenever I'm thinking about scheduling and stuff, the first thing that comes to my mind is, of course, sales emails, because I'm still way more a sales guy than an iGaming and SEO or whatever. And for us, whenever we're talking about it, it should be either 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. because it's the first thing that they're going to read, or it should be maybe at lunch or at circa 4 to 5 p.m. So there are these golden invisible rules of when you should reach out sales-wise. Besides the bathroom break, is there any other one that you saw like a spike of movement or deposits even?
Sure. So I agree. Those 3 are the main ones. That's also when I post my LinkedIn content.
Nice.
And when you see me posting like at 11, it means like I could not think of a post before 9 a.m. And I'm like, shit, I need to think of something. So for instance, today, so normally I get around 20 likes and a lot of comments on a post. Today I made a post and I think I got like 6 likes. And it's because I posted way later than I usually do. And that's when people are in deep work phase. They're in deep work state. So at 8 p.m. in the evening, that's when people do their chill down, right? They sit on the couch, they get to unwind. That's still a good post time. That's still a good time to get in touch. I'm not saying it's a good email time, it's a good post time. So if you're looking at the channels that you're using, it should always also be personalized. It should be adjusted to what works for the consumer. So social media ads, for instance, work amazing during those times. The pre-bed time, like quarter to 10 is amazing. It's amazing on social media.
Great to know. Great to know. Makes sense. Quarter to 10 makes sense. People to 10 you mean 8 to 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Yeah, because the thing is, it's in the morning, our brain is very active and it thinks very rational. In the evening, our brain, and this is just psychology or whatever you want to call it, neurological, whatever. But in the evening, our brain thinks more emotional. So so decisions are made impulsively easier if you do it 10 p.m.
Now it makes all sense. That's why I'm always buying my used old cars at night, and they're usually are off when my wife hates them, because it's like I'm buying them at night when I'm emotional. I'm like, I want to buy this Twingo because it's yellow.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe in the morning I would have said yellow is an expensive color to repaint the car. I'm not gonna buy a yellow car. But there you go. I already bought it. I see what you did there. It
Yeah.
makes sense.
It's
Should these companies, should these iGaming ones, those that are still watching and listening to us here, should they also check their data then to make sure that they're not losing some midnight oilers that are playing in their games? Absolutely right.
yeah, data is king, right? So even if you have players that play at night, they might have a night shift, and you have to allocate these timings for them as well. So make sure you know when your player plays, make sure that you get his rhythm. So I don't care if you just write out like, oh, this VIP always plays at this times. Why doesn't he play on that day? Figure it out. Make sure, like, hey, call him up. I don't care. Hey, we want to send you something special. Are you available today? He'll literally tell you why he or she cannot play that moment.
Yeah.
They will tell you because you're trying to give them something. And that's why,
That is
like,
true.
yeah, a lot of VIPs teams, they don't dare to call the players. Do it. Get that connection going. Get it going. But yeah, when you get like the data or the frequency or of them playing, you can really easily prolong their session durations, and that means more money in the long end, in the long run. So data is king, Victor.